Okay, it's supposed to be live on YouTube. Let me just confirm that I am. Yeah. All right. So I'm live. Well, hey everyone, it's Andres. I haven't done a live stream in ever. I actually only done one, but I figured, you know what, you gotta learn as you go. So I'm actually gonna try something I haven't done before. I'm going to give you my thoughts on the Samsung Unpacked event that happened earlier this morning. I did tune in. I had time to digest the news. There's also been some more tech news that happened this week, so I wanted to go over it just a bit while also experimenting with, I think it's called StreamYard or whatever it is. So if there's any hiccups along the way, well, it's all part of the learning experience. So anyway, look, for the longest time, I've been using the Note series from Samsung as my daily driver. I would say on and off. I normally carry two phones anyway, so whatever shortcomings there were or I found on the Note were made up for somewhere else, which is really hard to say about the Note in the first place. So the first Note that I had was the Samsung Galaxy Note 5. So I had the 5. That was a flat-edge display. And on the back, it was a kind of like the curved display, which is the inverse relationship that was done because that was the year, if I'm not mistaken, that Samsung really went all out to introduce the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge. I did review those devices way back when, so you can check it out. They're still here on the Segovia show, but they're labeled the newsreel because that's what I did back then. I did like it. It was my first experience with a Surface Pen, and I actually ended up upgrading to the dual SIM one so I could take it out of the country. And I got it in silver, which was really awesome. I had to have it in silver. My favorite color is silver. I'm in denial. I love red on my devices, but not so much as a color, even though I'm wearing a red cap and red patterned watch band. But anyway, so I've been, ever since I got one, I've really been using Samsung devices more so than before. But back then I was still using HTC, which is why you probably see HTC. And that was my go-to Android device. I actually paired them up with my BlackBerry 10 devices. So that's why I was big on BlackBerry. And you'll see some of my early videos will show the BlackBerry Passport, which I actually couldn't use on a service network because it doesn't work on Verizon. I had to use GSM, but for where I went, the GSM always sucked. That's why I stuck with Verizon. It was more reliable too. But that's why I have other BB10 devices, and the Android device complemented it. So for the most part, for the past several years, I have been carrying two devices. But if I had to carry one device, it was going to be an Android device. So for a time, I was carrying an HTC 11, which then unfortunately shattered and took forever to get repaired. And I ended up going for the Google Pixel 2, which is going to come into a point a little later in this stream that I'm planning to get to. But as soon as I was able to get my hands on a proper Galaxy device, because back then the Galaxy Note 5, as much as I loved the device itself and the experience, the software sucked because it was a RAM hog. Remember the RAM issues on Samsungs? Oh my goodness, they were just terrible. I think TouchWiz they had on top of it was just draining the life out of it. It sucked to use. But once they refreshed it, and I think it was around the Note 7, they streamlined their software where it served a lot better. And that was that. The Note 7 is without a doubt my favorite Note, and it's the one that I miss the most. But ever since the Note 5, every single August, because August is my birthday month, I'm always tuning into the whole Samsung Unpacked event for the Note, because it's one of the two they do annually, the one after CES or during CES or Mobile World Congress, and then this one. So with this one, I knew what I was expected to get as soon as they announced the Ultra. I'm glad they did add a few variations to differentiate the Note lineup from the S lineup of their Galaxy devices. And honestly, they did add they made it a little more complex too because of the whole Ultra moniker they've been throwing out for the Galaxy 20 Ultra and all that. So I'm like, man, how much more are you going to differentiate it? So one thing I expected, the device was going to be really big. And as far as I could tell, it is. And the other part was that it was going to have to include 5G because duh. And the prices were going to be higher. So I did get a chance to look over this. I want to share my screen, and I hope y'all can see it too. So this should be my screen now. In fact, I should be double checking my own stream. Just a moment, because hey, I'm multitasking here. There it is. Okay, so I'm gonna leave this on silent so you don't hear an echo. But I just want to make sure that this thing is appearing just fine. So here we are on Samsung's website. They announced the Galaxy Note 20 5G and Note 20 Ultra 5G. Look, before when I was a lot more involved in tech, I would be all up on the leaks. I would be following Evan Blass and some of the lesser named, but also been reliable ones that they don't share as they don't leak as much. But when they leak, it tends to be accurate. I stopped caring. You know, only very few things I care about in a leak, and that tends to be a specific feature that I want, and it's been mostly relegated to Apple products, mostly because I want to see if I can keep using an Apple device with my Apple Watch. But believe me, the phone's so frustrating that I'm thinking about just diving back to Samsung, and the Unpacked event is trying to win me over. So they announced these two phones. I gotta say, that's what is it, Mystic Bronze or whatever they call it? That is a nice color, not exactly gold, because it's bronze, but man, they really nailed it. And that's the square or the rectangle camera module on the S lineup was just really ugly. So I'm really glad they beautified it for this one. And by the way, this is not the lag that you're noticing is not me. I don't know if it's their website or something, but Samsung's website today has been really laggy. I'm assuming everybody's like piling on to just check it out. I have preloaded the website too, so it's just crazy. Anyway, what is it called? The Mystic Bronze. Yeah. They haven't really said. I mean, they announced the colors, so it's available in 3 colors, both for the Galaxy 20, Note 20, and Ultra. The Mystic Bronze, the Mystic White, which I think is pretty nice. Remind me of that ceramic color they had, because this whole matte finish they got on the glass back, and Mystic Black. I think these are the same colors available for the Note 20 proper. Yeah, there it is. Same thing. Oh no, wait. This Mystic Green. Okay, so white is not available for the smaller device. The Mystic Green is. Okay, so that's one difference there. You get a different kind of color between the two, but for the most part, black and bronze will be. Oh, let me rephrase that. Mystic Gray. I was befuddled by that color. Okay, then. So bronze is available on both devices, not the white and black. That's going to be exclusive for the Ultra variant, and Mystic Gray and Green for the smaller variant, the proper variant. Okay, interesting. They claim to have the toughest glass on a smartphone. And I think they moved all the buttons to the right side of the device this time. Yes, they did, because I happen to have the Galaxy Note 10, and all the buttons are on the left side. So yeah, they moved them to the right side. So now they keep flip-flopping because they kind of split them up for the Note 9. They kind of had them split up for a while. But yeah, all right, so there it is. This gives you an idea of the size differences. Now here's actually where it also gets interesting, because some of the leaks, yes, I saw some of the leaks, but not because I wanted them, but because some people were throwing them at me. The smaller variant is a flat panel on the front, whereas the edge display that a lot of people seem to hate is on the bigger device, which makes me wonder, does that mean that the smaller one is going to be the better seller, not just for the price, but because of the screen offering? Just asking for friends that I know, everybody. Okay. Interesting. Galaxy Note 20 5G millimeter wave model weighs 194 grams. What are you trying to say? I guess it's differentiation in models depending on where it's being released. Okay, gaming, don't really care. Yada, 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 yada. I know some of you care. I don't have time for it. The 5G Wi-Fi optimization, I think it's a Wi-Fi 6. Yeah, Wi-Fi 6. All right, so here is the big deal. They made this thing so much more powerful. They made it so much greater, and they didn't reintroduce the headphone jack. So bummer. There's no headphone jack there. I'm still really disappointed by that. I know why they did it. They want to sell those Galaxy earbuds thingies. I'm still kind of disappointed that my Note doesn't have a place to add my headphones there. My Audio Technicas can't do that. They still, you know, I don't understand why they still have the bottom firing speaker and all this. Why couldn't they just kind of make it like symmetrical, like it is with the top speaker slash earpiece? Why couldn't they do that for the bottom? I don't know, man. I would have loved that, just to have some more symmetrical, true front firing stereo speakers. But well, I guess that's just too much to ask for Samsung to do. Okay, big batteries. I think the smaller one has 4,300 milliamp hours, and the bigger one has 4,500 milliamp hours. Yeah. All day on a single charge. I heard that before. I hate that same song. Okay, I didn't see it on the specs there. Okay, so here's the camera module. This one's from the bigger variant, the 5G. I gotta admit, that looks really, really nice. They knew it was butt ugly on the previous version, but they left it there. I guess they didn't know what to do with it or ran out of time on what to do with it. And Apple just, oh my goodness, they're like ugly pores in the back. So even those look freaking ugly. But this looks really nice. The way they had the finish to these phones. For those camera modules. So I think they look considerably more appealing. Some of the differences here are the super resolution zoom on the Note 20. You can do 3x hybrid optical zoom and 30x super resolution zoom, whereas the Ultra can do 5x optical zoom and 50x super resolution zoom. So obviously the camera, for those that really want the bells and whistles on the cameras, the one to get is going to be the 5G Ultra. But just remember, only the bronze color is available on both models. Black and white only on the Ultra, and the Mystic Green and Mystic Silver only on the smaller variant. Hey, what else? Yeah, I know a lot about this. Let's just skip. I don't want to go through all this. This is the big deal for me. Always. The S Pen, that's why I care about this. It is a PC in the pocket. And they keep saying it's the best ever. And now with the 120 megahertz refresh screen, they keep reducing the latency on the screen to pen experience. If that's true, that's going to be awesome. That's one of the ways you might get me. But this is why this is leading to something big for me. The auto save and sync. I do have my Surface laptop 3, I think. And I also have the Note 10. And obviously my desktop computer. I do use Samsung software, some of them across these devices. And I also have the Google Pixelbook, which does have some applications that are across from one another, but not everything. So where everything kind of falls apart is whenever I go to my go-to tablet, which is the iPad. Because unless I'm using Microsoft specific products, I can't actually carry over some of my data and stuff. This thing is convincing me, because those that use iCloud they enjoy it, but those are those that are locked into that ecosystem. I'm not one of those, because I use Windows powered desktops. The fact that you can kind of carry over across everything from phone, tablet, or Android tablet to computer is awesome. Something that I've really been looking for. I've been begging technology to catch up to me, and it looks like it finally is. At least Samsung's been trying to do that. They're the hardest working ones that are trying to make this happen. I mean, they have the economies of scale, they have the money for it, and they have the offerings too, because they offer all these kind of products themselves. So it only made sense that they don't have to lock it to their own Samsung products. So that has been something interesting for me, that I really wanted to up the ante for my productivity. This has been something big for me, because me using all my devices, I always felt like that one bridge was missing, because every time I jumped over to the iPad, because I love the Apple Pencil experience with OneNote and whatever I do there, it just always felt like whenever I was carrying media over, trying to deal with it, I couldn't exactly synchronize it across all of them, even though I use OneDrive, Dropbox, Box.com, and all that. It's like there was always that one thing missing. And with the Windows Phone app, or Phone Companion app, whatever the heck they call it now, being synchronized across everything, it just felt more seamless to be on Windows and Android. And I always found I wanted to find a reason to jump off Apple finally, but they tethered. I'm tethered to them for 2 reasons right now. One, the iPad, because Apple Pencil, and ultimately because of this watch, which is unfortunately literally tethered to a phone. But anyway, what they're doing here, and because of one of the products that I am excited about that they announced, 2 products actually, but one mostly, is why I'm considering, you know what, this might be the year I finally leave Apple behind and just go back to what I enjoy doing. One of the complaints I do have about everything I saw was there really wasn't anything changing in the terms of the user interface. Because normally, new software or whatever, I guess it's just the latest Android version, Android 10. UI 2.5. It looks, I think if you looked at every screen, you would think this was just last year's device because the same software is running on it, but it's mostly internal where you see the differences. I'm not a fan of the ultrasonic fingerprint scanner. It's a hit or miss for me a lot of times, but then again, historically, I've always had issues with my fingerprints on real fingerprint scanners. So yeah, that's that. So there it is. Those were the highlights. The performance is big. The camera module looks beautiful. Obviously, it looks better on the bigger one. The S Pen is always a plus for me. Performance should be top notch. Actually, one of the things I didn't touch on that I'll probably mention here is the fact that kind of like last year, I'll call it the Note 20 proper for the smaller one. Okay, the S10 proper does not have expandable storage. I know for a lot of people it's a bummer. I didn't mind so much last year because mine has 256 gigabytes. That was enough for me. When I used my Note 9, I had 128 gigabytes on board, and I expanded the storage to 120 gigabytes SD card. So 256 was just right for me. And so was the RAM. This time they dropped it to 128, and they raised the price. The smaller one starts at 900. It's $1,000. $1,000, and they're going to use this excuse. Oh, it's 5G. Yeah, but it's not available everywhere, and you cut the memory in half. I think that's egregious. Which then you can springboard over to the $1,300 starting price tag for the Ultra variant. I've been saying this for the longest time. These phones are too damn expensive, which is why I haven't had the need to go after these devices, because software's finally been catching up. Software support's been big. That's why I've been into Pixel. I've always rooted for them, and they always fallen short because there's always something missing. They improved this, but screw up that. The camera is not enough to sway me to do something just because productivity is really big for me. And to be productive on a smaller phone is really difficult. But to also have a massive phone that can shatter easily because it's so freaking heavy and it can slip out of your hand, that's also counterintuitive to being able to be productive with the device when they're getting that freaking expensive. So to me, I always felt the right footprint for me. And I'm a tall guy. I'm the average guy. I'm 6 feet tall, and for my size as a big guy, I actually haven't minded big phones for a while, but then as soon as they kept falling out of my pants because they slipped out, and it's like, you know what, forget it. And even though I have big hands, these things will still slip out somehow. It's like, you know what, I want something that fits in the palm of my hand, that's not too small but not too big, like Goldilocks, just right. And for me, the Samsung Galaxy Note 7 was my favorite footprint. It still is my favorite Android device in the past several years. I haven't seen anything comparable to that since the Note 10, with some hiccups. So me getting the Note 10 and getting in this gorgeous color, which I'll probably do a follow-up review for this because it's been a year. It's worth upgrading. Having this thing, it's felt just right in the hand. My only gripe that makes this fall short of just about perfection is the fact that no headphone jack. So that really sucks because, you know, for those of us that are content creators, with all the power that's in here, you can't tap into it because of the latency that you get using Bluetooth microphones to video record. Which is a point that even Jaime Rivera mentioned in Unpacked now, because the buds, which let me show you. Let me stop sharing this thing. Okay, now I'm going to share again, but I need to share just a moment. The buds. There you are. Share the buds. So these buds are now supposedly giving you the ability to use them as some kind of microphone for distance recording for video. But did they solve the latency problem? Do these things have Wi-Fi on them? Because Bluetooth is going to suck to get this done right. So it'll be interesting. It's a bean. I mean, it's going to be easy to hide. The colors are nice. Again, that mystic bronze, they got me there. But stay tuned in. What you hear is up to you. It has active noise cancellation, so that's a pretty big deal. Live and deep, they say. I'm not going to know until I hear it, so I don't care what they have to say. 29-hour battery life with the box, I'm assuming. Non-stop for 8 hours. That's pretty cool. And, of course, reverse charging for these phones. See, the camera module from that angle doesn't look bad at all. I think it looks better than the S lineup. But anyway, I don't want to dive all into that. But there goes my point that without a headphone jack, you can't really take advantage of all the video content creation that you can do with this device that supposedly you could do. Okay, so I'm gonna stop sharing that one. So that's my main concern about the phone, that as beautiful as it is, it's so freaking expensive. And these things just keep getting bigger and bigger. It's supposed to be just as big, a little slightly bigger than the Ultra variant from the S lineup. Like, oh my goodness, that phone was enormous. So yeah, okay. Hey, so far I think I'm doing okay with this stream and jumping back and forth between sharing screens and tabs. Thank you, StreamYard. This is without any practice, it's turning out okay. Alrighty, so 2 more products that I do want to go over from the thingamajig. I'm spitballing here, but this is the competitor for me when it comes to watches. So they reintroduced the rotating bezel, physical rotating bezel on the Galaxy Watch 3. Yippee! But I have the Active Watch 2, which I think is absolutely wonderful. Because I use it for workouts and for sleep tracking. And because I use Under Armour suite of apps, so it's already baked in. I actually have the Under Armour variant of that watch. So this one, they look great. And I'll have to see it for myself on the big one with the LTE to make sure it doesn't look egregiously fat. I am using a 4G LTE variant of this watch, the Apple Watch. But I gotta say, the experience on this watch has been fluid. It's no complaints there. Kudos to Apple. They did it right. That is literally the only reason I'm using an iPhone. I don't care for an iPhone. I hate typing on that thing. It's an annoying experience day in, day out. But the watch is that important to me for communication. A wearable saved my life. Now, thanks to the Pebble. And ever since then, I've just been looking for the right experience. I gave up on Android Wear, Wearless, whatever the heck they call it now. I just gave up on them. So Apple did win me over just because there were some software hiccups on the side of Samsung with Tizen and lack of let's not kid ourselves, lack of apps. The most available suite of apps that are important to me and the metrics of measurement are available now as of last year. For some reason, though, Active Watch 2 is supposed to have that EKG sensor, but they haven't approved it yet. This one's supposed to have it, but obviously only in Korea, so then what's the point? Get it over here, and then we'll talk. But, okay, so they got Mystic Black as a 45mm option. I think 41. They have the silver in the smaller 41mm variant, and both Mystic Bronze should be available on both sizes. I think no, Mystic Bronze is only available for the smaller size. I guess they think that smaller wrists will care for it. No, but I care too. Mystic Silver, I like my silver colors, but for this one, I don't know. Michael Black. I kind of wish that Mystic Bronze would be available for this. There it is. I mean, just. What is up with that color? You know, that's anyway. Slimmer, of course, you have to go slimmer. You can't make them fat all the time. The AMOLED display on these things are just gorgeous. I love it on my my Active Watch 2. Okay, so they got fall detection here now, just like the Apple Watch. Sleep tracking, yes, it's done wonders for me. I even used the Gear Fit series for that. No. For Samsung Health on health metrics has sucked for me, so I'm sorry, I don't use it for that. Under Armour has been a better use for me. And I guess those are the messages. Auto chat history. Okay, whatever, man. Bitmo, don't care. Beat goes on. Spotify, yes, is on it. Find My Phone, I use it quite often, I have to admit. Gallery, yeah, so they're really streamlining the app experience across all this stuff. So yeah, there it is. Leave your phone at home. This is one of the reasons why I care about the LTE stuff, especially since I've been more into fitness in the past couple of years. I want to be able to do that because I do that with this. And this thing with Samsung Pay, I want to be able to do that without having to carry my phone and stuff. Because just pair Bluetooth headphones to this. You got your streaming music as I think 8 gigabytes of onboard storage this time, 1 gigabyte of RAM. I think that's way more than enough to get you by. You can load up your music, stream from Spotify. There you go. You can even install like YouTube there, so you can enjoy YouTube on the headphones while you're out there working out, going for a run, jog, walk, whatever it is. Just do something for fitness. And being able to take your calls, that's a big deal. They improved their microphones and noise cancellation for microphone feedback on the previous generation. So it's only that's the reason that they improved it this time. So I really am curious. I would like to check that out if they get it right. I don't like how they make them super fat. So this one's supposed to be slimmer and thinner. So I'd like to see it. So hopefully I'll be able to get my hands on one of these pretty soon. It's supposed to go available tomorrow, and they military grade durability. I don't know if it was there before, but let's find out. Okay. Alrighty. So let me stop screen now and end it with the last item on Samsung that did catch my attention because Dave 2D brought the attention to it. He did a great one on this one. So let me highlight this one. The Galaxy Tab S7, S7 Plus. I've had my eye on this lineup for so long. My issues with this are usually the same. That Samsung just doesn't update their products. They just launch them and abandon them and then expect you to just buy the new tablet because that's what they upgrade with their software. So that's where I disagree with Dave 2D. He says great support from Samsung for these devices for 2 to 3 years. Sorry, bro. That's where I disagree because I've never even seen them update anything in like 12 months and they finally push out an update. That's not something that's for an Android powered device that has the same security flaws as their smartphones. They need those security patches. So no, unless last year's product changed anything, which I haven't really seen much of that. That's my only drawback to this experience in trying to get the tablet. But the reason why I do want to go for this one, where it's got my curiosity, well, of course, the S Pen. I'm not going to deny that. Secondly, it's Samsung with a display, whether it's the IPS display or the AMOLED, which of course is the more beautiful one. They were able to manage to find a temporary bridge, if you will, or maybe it's the best experience of both worlds. I don't know. They take the Android tablet experience. And then there's DeX. DeX is great if you have the entire setup for your freaking phone, which most people don't. But DeX is great on something like this because it can be a tablet and it can be a desktop and it's the same device. So that's one of the reasons it got my attention. They beefed up the power on this thing. They beefed up the memory. So with the faster GPU and now available with 5G, they're claiming it's the first tablet available with 5G. It is interesting. And of course, the S Pen experience has been fantastic. I like that. They got, what is it? The Dolby Atmos surround sound. And so they have quad speakers, just like the setup with it on an iPad. But this one, they're being tuned by AKG. With their screens, I can imagine how gorgeous they might look. Best part is they got actual cameras on this thing. So I'm curious to see how good these cameras are. Because it would help for certain things when you're content creating and you don't want to reach for your phone or synchronize them if you don't have the network to do so. Add for YouTube included, blah, blah, blah. Let's get to the point here. Colors. So the 5G of the S7 Plus will only be available in black, but the non-5G model, I guess is the Wi-Fi model, will be available in black, silver, and bronze, all those mystic colors. Once again, for the S7, which is a smaller one, 5G, only in Mystic Black, and without the 5G, you would get it in black, silver, and bronze. What's the difference between the S7 Plus and the S7? The S7 is an 11-inch TFT display, so it's not AMOLED, but it is 120 hertz refresh display. Same thing with the bigger one, the S7 Plus, but the screen is increased to 12.4 inches. So it is a little bigger than that. It is a little heavier by 0.2 pounds. The batteries, there are different. The bigger one has a 10,090 milliamp hour battery. The smaller one has 8,000 milliamp hour battery. The chipset, though, is supposed to be the same across all of them, which is the Qualcomm Snapdragon 865 Plus. They both run the octa-core setup. So yeah, it looks the same to me. And yeah, so difference in size, difference in battery size, difference in screen size and screen quality. One's Super AMOLED, the other one is LTPS display, so like an IPS display. Battery size, and that's basically it. The colors are basically the same. Both of them will be available with 5G millimeter wave, sub-6, Bluetooth 5.0, then Wi-Fi 6 for all of them across the board. And just the experience that I was talking about from phone, tablet, computer, this is the one that's helping me bridge that. The one missing piece and all that will obviously be, can the watch hold up? My active watch was a great watch. If I have to eliminate using the LTE powered watch and just suck it up and use a Bluetooth enabled one or Wi-Fi enabled one only, maybe. It's just that I've been using an LTE watch for about 2 years now, and it's really hard to let that go. So I don't know. That's an interesting one. I'll see about that. Other than that, because think about this: for the same price as the starting price of a Galaxy Note 20, you can get the watch, the Galaxy Watch 3, and the lesser of these, the Tab S7, for the same price. That's hard. That's what I mean. These things are so freaking expensive. The S7 is supposed to start around $650 base model. They both come with where are you specs? It doesn't really give me the specs. These have expandable storage. I think they come with 128 or 256 gigabytes. I didn't see the specs on this thing when I scroll all the way down. Let me just check. Yeah, that's it for the specs. You know who might have had it? Pocket Now. I know I'm not sharing that screen, but let me see if I can pull that up real quick. All right, let me see this. Okay, all right, here we go. So this is from Pocket Now. They both have the same chipset. They both come with 8 gigabytes of RAM, which should be good, 256 gigabytes of onboard storage, and expandable up to 1 terabyte. Eat your heart out, Apple. They both come with the 4 AKG tuned speakers with Dolby Atmos support. So yeah, there you have it. Where you get the differences, of course, like I mentioned before, is the screen size and battery size, and of course the screen quality, because one's Super AMOLED, the other one's an IPS. But they both have 120 megahertz refresh rate. So that's something to keep in mind. The bigger one does have a heftier price tag. Let me see if it's available here. I know they had mentioned they both come with Android 10. I think I mentioned that before. Which they better. We'll also be really pissed. Yeah. So the S7 starts at $650. This was not mentioned on the Samsung website for some reason. So let me share this one now. Let me share Pocket Now, so you can see what I'm looking at. So you don't think I'm making it up. All right, so here we are. The availability, but here's quickly the specification differences. I mentioned screen type, IPS, Super AMOLED. One's 12. The AMOLED is 2.4 inch. The IPS is 11 inch, so it's probably going to be just slightly bigger than my iPad Pro. Both the same chipset, same RAM. Available 6 gigabyte, 8 gigabyte. I'm assuming the 8 gigabytes is the 5G variant. Storage, it's 128 gigabytes. Starting, so maybe the 128 is for the non-5G and 256 is for the 5G. I'm just speculating here. They both come with the same camera setup for the front and back. The rear camera is 13 megapixel primary, 5 megapixel wide angle. Front camera is 8 megapixels. And the battery, of course, I already said it. They both do come with a 45-watt super fast charging, but the difference is in size about 2,000 milliamp hours in difference. Both run Android 10. So the starting price for the Galaxy Tab S7, $650. S7 Plus starts at $850. So in all of this, the point is that you can get the freaking Tab S7 at $650 plus the watch, which is around $350. You just use the budget of the Note 20 proper for this. Now, of course, when you start adding in the LTE capability of the watch, now you're talking about like $430. That's not that big of a bump up. And if you do go for the bigger variant on a tablet, let's say $850 plus the watch, so $850, $950, so it'll be $1,300. $1,200. If you get the bigger tablet, the S7 Plus, with the watch, without the LTE, you'll be clocking out $1,200, which is still less than the S20, the Note 20 Ultra starting price. Do you get the perspective of how expensive these phones are? That's utterly absurd. So the pricing is the big deal here. With that kind of budget, to be able to get some of the best offerings that Samsung has made available with their watch and the tablet. I'm more looking at the tablet here. The watch, I'll have to wait and see. But man, that's a big deal. Yeah. And it's a big deal because now, with people hurting because of what we currently are experiencing, people have reduced work hours, steeper bills because they can't pay everything. And what is it? They probably lost employment altogether. That's why stuff like this is important. The Google Pixel A took the thunder out of the OnePlus Nord because it's a plastic, a polycarbonate body. I think it has a fingerprint scanner. It has the Pixel camera from the 4, if I'm not mistaken. But these are $349 with Google support. I have the Google Pixel 2, the last one built by HTC. That thing is still flying today. The only reason I don't use it in my daily driver is because that thing is really, really small. The screen is even smaller than the iPhone that I use. So that's why I stick to it. But this thing, this is why it's sending shockwaves. That's why everybody's just like, what? You got a great camera, big battery, the Google Assistant, and you got the Titan M chipset that secures the phone, which is something I actually used on my Pixel. And I used I don't want to tell you what I use, but no one complains. Everybody praises the camera, and I do too. I mean, the camera on my Pixel 2 is still fantastic for what I use it for. And the software is just, my goodness, that thing flies. So I can't say the same thing about super expensive products from Samsung that you don't know if they'll software support later on, like 1-2 years down the line. They got them better, but you just don't know for how long. But then Google, you don't have to question that. They're going to push out every update every month. This thing comes with quick charge. Yeah, it comes with the lesser chipset, but you're also not paying an arm and a leg for this thing. And they have fun accessories for it. The fabric cover, you can actually wash it with your laundry now. What? And what's this? Yeah, you can with the filtering the screen call feature or call screen feature. I do use it. I do use the Google Recorder app, which on my Pixel 2, I actually use it on my Note 10 as well, so it could transcribe everything. Thank you, XDA developers. I already talked about security chip. Yeah, safe and sound, but as safe as you can be with these things, right? It's only available in just black. I heard it's available in other colors, but I haven't seen it in other colors. So the fact that this thing came out to take the thunder out of OnePlus, but then Samsung announces their offerings like, yeah, the latest and greatest, and they're not charging an arm and a leg for it, and they got rid of the Samsung SE variant last year or this year. It's like, dude, you're going higher and higher in a time where these companies, even Apple, they're racing to the bottom. And then Samsung comes out with even more expensive phones. I didn't even talk about the new Fold 2. It looks a lot better. I don't think they mentioned anything about water resistance. So I am not going to care about a super expensive phone that cannot resist a splash. So I'm not even going to bother. But yeah, so the 4A, pretty big screen, a full screen 4.8 inch. It does have that hole punch to the left side, 6 gigabytes of RAM, 128 gigabytes built-in storage, no expandable memory, Qualcomm Snapdragon 730 with octa-core and Titan M. The rear camera is a 12.2 megapixel dual pixel, whatever the heck that means. And I think they don't mention anything about the front-facing camera, but it's supposed to be a fixed focused front-facing camera. And it comes with 3 months of Google One, blah, blah, blah. And you could trade your phone, finance it. Dude, for $349, this thing should put Google on the map. It should be a direct hit, just like the Pixel 3a was. Did we see the? Hold on, they don't show the whole body. This thing has a headphone jack, but just so I'm not making this crap up, Show me the picture. Show me the headphone jack. There it is. Look at that. There's the headphone jack, and I like that the design of the earpiece right there. But it has a freaking headphone jack. If a $349 phone can fit in a headphone jack with everything else, why couldn't Samsung do it on at least a $1,000 phone? Just to sell the Pixel Buds. Yeah, I get it. That's nice, though. That's nice. I recommend checking out the unboxing video for Joshua Vergara. He dives into this thing, the positives and of course his top concerns for it. But it's a pretty cool experience unboxing it, and it looks pretty nice. I don't know if it's supposed to be available in other colors. Rumor is it's supposed to, but just like with Samsung, they announce all these colors, but they're not all available at once, or limited availability, or some carrier exclusives. And then a few months down the line, after all the pre-order specials are gone, they announce a new color, but you got to pay the standard price for it. Oh, that is why I bought this one off market, and I only paid half for this thing. So I was not going to spend the money on that kind of phone that they say. Anywho, that's it. I just wanted to share all that because I was waiting to do the live stream. I was going to react to the Pixel 4a. The 5a is supposed to be coming down the pipeline, but as soon as I knew that Samsung was going to do their thing, I was going to wait to give you my real reaction to it. I must say I've come away impressed with the tablet. I'm always impressed with their watches, always looking for them to improve it and make it better, because the only alternative to Apple that I really see, I love using it. I don't use it in my main watch right now because it's not LTE compatible, and it doesn't really work with an iPhone, but technically it does. I mean, it still does with an iPhone. Just you don't get the full services of Samsung on it, which is why I don't really go for it, because you have to install these plugins and to bridge the network between the two. And I don't remember being able to use Samsung Pay on it without the Samsung one. So yeah, the only thing that was left up in the air, I don't know if, let me see, I'm looking at the specifications right now of the watch again. I don't know if the watch now includes is it just NFC for the Samsung Pay, or can it also do that magnetic thing that the phone does? And it doesn't really say. One thing I can't speak about, which is pretty awesome, which the freaking Apple can't. That battery goes for at least 2 days on my Active 2, and I could make it go longer when I use the good night function on it while still tracking my sleep. You can't say that about the Apple Watch. It doesn't natively track your sleep, and they keep reducing the battery size on it. And that's annoying. But the overall experience with the watch, I'm not going to dox this, okay? This watch is fantastic. It's been the best standalone experience watch I've used with LTE. Just, you still need a phone to be able, like, you don't have to have the phone with you. It's just that in order to be able to use the functions of the phone, of the watch on it, like apps and stuff like that, you still need the phone, which is annoying. You don't need that with the Samsung, which is why I praise them. It's just they've always fallen short with the software side of things. But anyway, that is it for this live stream. I wanted to show some love from my tech folks out there, but also mostly because I wanted to also share my thoughts before I get busy again. I want to take a quick break from what I was doing to talk about these. But yeah, hey, what are your thoughts about all this? You looking at the Note lineup, or has it just gotten way too expensive to even consider upgrading? I have the Note 10. I'll share my thoughts about that in a separate video. One, like how it's held up. I also have the Note 9, so I'll tell you how that's been different between the two, because it is a bit of a different experience between the two. But my father, we worked in the same company. My father has the Note 10 Plus. He absolutely loves the Note 10 Plus. He loves bigger phones. And my sister actually got the Star Wars edition, which is, I thought, was just a customized Note 10 Plus. No, that Note 10 is actually taller than the Note 10 Plus. And she has a problem where she shattered her screen, but she can't find a repair center that can fix that screen. So she's going to be forced to upgrade herself. And that sucks because that phone's super expensive. So that just comes to tell you that these things can be really hit or miss. But anyway, I'll give you my thoughts on how my Note 10 experience has been on the long term, along with the Note 9. I didn't do a long-term review for that one, I think, so I'll cover them both together and give you my thoughts on it on a separate video. But I just wanted to give you my real reaction while I was digesting the news from the Samsung Unpacked event today, and also the Pixel announcement from 2 days ago, or Google announcement for the Pixel 4a from 2 days ago. I don't care for OnePlus. I mean, I like them. I like what they stand for. I just don't like their devices because there's always something missing on them for me. Software is great, but the hardware is always lacking for me. So it's not a complete package yet. And they got more expensive. Now they have the Nord, but it's not available here. Don't import it. So why do I got to talk about that? Sorry, yo. And the fact is, I still don't trust them with my data compared to, say, Samsung. But then again, they're all Android, so you know what you're getting into. So nothing from BlackBerry yet. Yeah, no good news. It's been 6 months since that fateful announcement on February 5th, I think, since I broke the news too. I'm still pissed about it because, man, they squandered all that goodwill. Freaking A, man. Anyway, that's it. Like, subscribe, say no. I'll see you around YouTube. Make sure you're following my podcast on any of the podcast catchers that should be listed below after this video has been reposted, or at least it reposted. And yeah, have a good one, y'all. Be safe and see you next time.